Thank you, Billy. I wanted to start this week off with a quote that we had last week because it's just so powerful. I wanted to bring it up again and share it with you guys, but I just wanted to bring it up again for the most part. So let's do that. The quote is from Nelson Mandela. There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than you are capable of living. There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. That brings to mind another quote, and I do not remember who this quote is from, but it basically says, and I may not even be saying it correctly, but it basically says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Part of setting goals is adding feeling. Part of reaching those goals and reaching those intentions is to understand, acknowledge, and use the feelings involved in them. Kathy and I were given a movie to watch the other night. It was called The Giver, I think was the name of it. And this movie was really kind of strange, to be honest with you. I mean, we're kind of looking at it like, every 5 minutes, do we want to keep going? But something kept dragging us, and it finally started making some sense. This movie was about a community of people that had created kind of a utopia. Everything was just perfect. Everything was just exactly the way it should be in a perfect world. There was no feeling. There was no passion. And you didn't really realize that until somebody that they called the Giver started sharing memories. This is the one person in the community that had memories of a life that had passion and feelings and good days and bad days. He knew that there were some negative things in the world, but he also knew the incredible joy and the just amazing wonder that came along with life when you had passion. And when he started sharing that with one person, that one person decided, oh man, we got to do this. We got to explore this. And so his journey was to bring those memories back to the community. And the folks who created the utopia fought it, and then the others, when they started feeling and started accepting it, and their life turned around. Sure, there was bad days. Sure, they took some steps that didn't quite work. I love quotes, so you're going to hear more of those today. One of them was a post that I saw on Facebook that said, aim for the stars. Because even if you miss, it's better than aiming for manure and hitting it. If we're going to aim for something, let's aim for it. We are one with God. We talk about that every time we're together. How can we not set our sights beyond the moon, beyond the stars? We cheat ourselves and we tell God and we tell the universe and we tell our greater good, it's just not good enough anytime we set our sights less than what we're fully capable of being as a spiritual being, as one with God, as God in expression. Now we know that. And knowing that is one thing. Doing it's different. The first step in becoming aware of what we're doing, becoming aware of this spiritual life that we are attempting to live here, is mindfulness. Being mindful of what we do. Now, being mindful of what we do is not permission to be judgmental of what we do. Kathy and I were in a workshop that had 27 tools. The first tool, and you had to get this one before you could get any of the rest of them, was leave your judgments in the parking lot. Because if you bring your judgments with you, you won't get the rest of it. So and here at Divine Connection, we will make that our first rule as well. We're going to leave our judgments out of this. Because as long as we carry judgments with us, we don't have room to bring in new awareness. We don't have room to open ourselves up to new learning. Judgments have to stay out there. That's what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is just being aware of what I'm doing. It's being aware that today I took a step over here that did not work. Oh well, I'll take a different one tomorrow. It's also being aware of today I took a step that took me miles towards my goals, towards my intentions. Good job. Mindfulness is just knowing what's going on. If you ever feel disconnected, mindfulness helps bring you back. And it's simply something as easy as saying, okay, where are my thoughts right now? Are they way off in the future? Are they stuck back in the past? Neither one of those are going to help you. Okay? Bring them back to right now. Where are my thoughts right now? What serves my greatest good in this moment? Now, we started this by talking about intentions. You have to look out into the future. You have to look at what you want if you want to ever have any intentions for your life. Just don't get stuck there. Let that be a guide. Let that be your GPS. That's kind of your final destination out there. But you got to follow the steps. If you're just looking out there, you'll trip over something. Okay? So just bring it back in. Let mindfulness be a guide for you. Let mindfulness be your GPS. You're constantly checking in to make sure you're making the turns that get you to where you want to go. And if you make a turn that takes you away from your goal, it's not bad. You might have an incredible experience over here. Enjoy it. Be thankful for what you saw. Be thankful for what you learned. And then just turn back to where you want to head. So like I said, intentions, the first step is the awareness, and mindfulness is just part of that. There are also a few other things that go along with awareness. One is knowing what you really want. And we're going to work on that next week at our Burning Bowl process, workshop, whatever you want to call it. And knowing what you want is, I think the example I used last week was of getting a new car. What that new car represents to you is what you really want. It's not the car itself. You know, great. I'm not saying don't go buy a Lexus. If you want a Lexus or a BMW, no problem. But know what it is that you really want. And what you really want probably is going to be something along the lines of a secure and safe way to move from point A to point B. Probably going to be something to do with the comfort that you have while you're traveling that. All of that says something about you. If you're able to buy a BMW, you apparently have met success somewhere in your life. Well, that says something about your strength. That says something about your willingness to do what it takes to get what you want. You have to interpret what that means to you. And here's where the feelings come in. When I decide, I'm successful, I can buy a BMW. Well, what does it say about me? It says that I love myself enough to do it, to follow my dream. It says that I was smart enough to follow steps A, B, C, D to get here. And it gets into feelings. When you get down to those feelings, you're going to get some goosebumps when you do this process. You're going to know, I'm hitting it. Those guides are what will be your drivers along the way to any goal. It's not just a car. Okay? If your goal is a BMW and you determine that what drives you there is a love and a strength, and I'm making these up, it can be anything for you. A love, a strength, a trust. Love, strength, and trust can be felt in every step along the way to your goal of reaching that BMW. If you take a step that you do not feel those, you're out of line. Check in with your mindfulness thing. Find out where you are. And then come back in line. Okay? Those feelings, that passion arrives from those feelings. Those feelings will be a great guide if you ever feel out of whack, if you feel sad, depressed, scared, pain, If you feel any negative emotions, you have stepped away from those 3 things or those 4 things, whatever it works out to be. And the process is much easier. It's real fun. It's a lot of, and we're going to have fun with this. And it will be a great determining factor. I'll tell you, mine was whole, strong, and trusting. When I really dug deep, we took this "what do you want" process to a much deeper level in a workshop that I did. Those were the 3: whole, strong, and trusting. And anytime I do not feel that, I know I'm out of line with my passion, with my goal, with my flow that we talked about in our meditation. So those are some great indicators, and you can do that by simply checking in. What do I want? A new mattress. Why do I want that? What does that say about me? What does that bring me? And you just start digging, asking questions, and digging deeper and deeper and deeper until something gives you that little chill, that little, ooh, that feels good. That's what I'm after. Because it's not the master, it's what's driving it. So that's one of the steps to find awareness. It's to be fully aware of what's driving you. What is it that you really want? The next part of awareness is to be aware of what you have inside of you that allows you to manifest anything you desire. In Way of Mastery, or I guess not, it's the Mastermind group, not the Way of Mastery. In the Mastermind group, it seems like we're saying the same things. You ask for what you want from your group, the support that you want from your group. It seems like we're always asking for the same things. Knowing what you have inside is the key to making sure that you don't have to ask for the same things all the time. Now, you ask until you manifest it, but know that you have what it takes. When we start feeling, we watched Esther and Abraham the other night, and they were talking about this as well. When we focus on not having it, we get more of not having it. So we've got to flip that. We've got to get to the feelings of having it, which comes in with what do you want, and being mindful. See, all of this is a flow. It's a beautiful flow. We get to the feelings of what we want. Then we know, then we can feel what we have inside. When I realized that I was whole, strong, and trusting, I can do pretty much anything when I come from that place. So can you. When you determine what that is for you, you can get to anything. You have within you everything that you can possibly need. And if whole, strong, and trusting is not enough for me, I and my Father are one. I have that power. The one power that created this entire universe is at my disposal. We can go anywhere we want. We can do anything we want. And when we get in that divine flow, we know exactly what that is. Okay? Sometimes we may say we want $1 million. Well, the $1 million may just be the results of what we really want. And we just have to figure all of that out. We've got to get into the feeling. We've got to get back in. We've got to be aware of what we want and what we have that can fulfill that. And then I've already mentioned the one thing that we have to keep in our awareness. There's not too many things I will say we have to do. There's not too many things that I say we need to do or we should do. This is one of them. And that is we just have to keep in our awareness, our knowing, our belief that we are one with God. Our oneness has to be there. I mentioned it last in this step of things we need for awareness, but it's certainly not the least important. It is the most important. If we can keep that in mind and believe that, those feelings that drive our road and our journey to success, that drive our journey to passion, oneness with God is the key. Just remembering that gives us all the power that we could ever want. Now, on that road to intention, the next step, awareness was the first step, the next step is imagine. This is where we get hung up. We might sit here and I'm one with God. I know that, I believe that, and we may fully believe it. And we get to an imagine, and we say, oh, I want $1 million. And we go through the mindfulness thing, and we go through the what do we really want thing, and we go through that whole step that we went through in awareness. And we know that $1 million is it. And we get to imagine, and we go, I can see that $1 million out there, but I just can't get there. I'm not deserving of it. This is where our limiting beliefs, our excuses, all kinds of things come into play that stop us. I want that $1 million, but here's the exception. I want that $1 million, but here's why I can't have it. I want that $1 million, here's why I don't deserve it. I want that $1 million, but God doesn't want me to have it. We do this to ourselves, and we do it oftentimes without even realizing it. So imagine, but imagine without limits. Imagine without judgments. That's why judgments are out there. You can pick them up when you leave if you want them, but you don't get to use them here. So you imagine big. Imagine huge. Again, we go back to Nelson Mandela. That's part of what he's talking about is the imagining phase. There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. There is no limit to God. You and God are one. Imagine it that way. Imagine huge things. Now, I use $1 million as an example. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't even have to be anything concrete. It can be that you are the most spiritual person that you are capable of being. It can be that you are a teacher to millions. It can be anything you desire. So imagining is all about desiring. It's all about desiring, imagining, creating what you want from a place of no limits, no judgment. You are unlimited because you are one with God. So there is one other thing that I have highlighted over here, so I have to check it out because I know that I already told you that one is about shooting for the stars, because even if you miss, it's better than shooting for the manure and hitting it. It's so true. Dream big. Dream huge. Make sure that it's within the divine flow, whatever that means for you. Because that's truly where your happiness will come from. That's where your success will come from. Thank you very much.